Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing good. First off, I'd like to wish Robin's Hood channel happy birthday, young man. I hope you have many more if you want them. And I hope it's a wonderful day for you. And going into the rest of I would probably say like the second half of your life, I hope it's beautiful. Everything that you hope and wish to come true is what I wish for you. So, peace, my friend. Say, no, I'd like to talk about our homicidal government and the weirdos that promote other people's deaths or murders without even a second thought. Yesterday, I shared a video from Lionel Nation calling for our government to show us the public executions for the treasonous. And I agree 100%. If you're going to do such a thing, the people in the country, we want proof of that. Not because we're sadists like our government, but because our government is sadistic and we don't want to participate in that. But yet they say they're doing these things, and we have a right to see that that's followed through with. If you're going to tell the American people, the United States of America, that you're putting down another human being because of their actions, of what they've done towards the other people, then we have a right to see that that's exactly what you've done, good or bad, or indifferent. Because everybody's so indifferent about war. What's going on? Vietnam, I was 12 years old out there holding a sign against the war, picketing. I even knew better back then. We had sit-ins and would talk about how we're going to run the world when we get old enough to be able to do these things, because the people that were doing it and still are doing it aren't doing it the right way that represents the people as a whole in our country. And I am so ashamed. I don't even want the other world part of the world to know that I'm a part of America. That's disgusting to me. How vile and low and insipid we become creatures from the Black Lagoon, not even human anymore. So back to my point, if you're going to kill people for treason, for harming other people, then we have a right to see that that's done. Not just a list of the names that who's going to be indicted. No, we want to see it followed through with proof. I personally don't want to see it, but I know people that have looked at death before, and I have. Not in a funeral home, but I've seen people die. So, I mean, it's not something I would like to replay and replay, but I'm sure there are men out there with a little stronger shell over their emotional selves that would do that for the women and the children to see that, yes, this is exactly, I mean, we can't stop it. So far, we haven't even been able to stop the wars with our words because they're making money off it and they don't care. And these scapegoats that they're putting down for treason, we've never seen anything. They say it's happening. They say this person's gone, that person's gone. Prove it. I think they're in their underground. I've been on the high-speed trains. I've seen their underground cities with shops and restaurants, the whole spiel. They're all over the world, underground. It's not just like the Underground Railroad. I'm talking about the Underground Railroads, the mag railroads that have been in existence before they were above ground. Electronic trains for decades and decades now. Go look up all those. I have videos and I have all kinds of Facebook proof, but I mean, unless you've actually been in these places or even like the missile silos throughout America, you'd be stunned. So our government is just filthy for money. It's what it's all about, money and control. And I have a distinct hatred for them, every single one of them. So, and I'm not buying this shit like hate no man. On that note, I'm about ready to use some foul language that I'm not gonna. I said I'm about ready to, but I'm not going to. Um, it deserves strong language and reaction out of people. What our tax money has gone to, you know, in the way they finagle it out of people. Oh, yeah. So yes, and I don't believe in uh, what's that called when you execute somebody for treason, you know. No, I don't. I want to see them on chain gangs. I want to see these people have to work like the rest people do just to eat. And yes, confiscate everything they've stolen. You got I'm right on that. And even if they haven't been a thief and they've been participating in what harms other people in this world, I don't care who you are. I really don't care. On that note, did you see, let me see, I'm gonna check. Uh, oh no, I can't move it. I do that often. I'm on my computer right now and I don't know how to finagle everything just right just yet to be able to like share screens and all that, and I'll probably end up turning you off or no, so not right now. But anyway, it was JP Reacts, I think, and I shared it with the queers saying, "We're here, we're queer, and we're coming after your children." Does that get any more clearer for you? I'm not saying every queer or gay person out there is like that. I'm saying the ones that are a part of this movement and a part of this agenda to degrade family people. Now, if I was in that crowd and there's children in that crowd, well, first off, as a mother, I wouldn't have had my children there, or as a parent. And now there might strike a spark of wanting to publicly execute somebody. I'm just saying it would strike the spark. I'm not saying that I would act on that, but that being, if I had seen that, I'd probably strike a little more than a spark. I would hope that I'd have somebody that could just like put a hefty cinch sack over my head like a scared horse and lead me off the scene, you know? Or horses that they put blinders on the sides, that's so they don't see the other horses in a race, or if they're pulling a carriage, so they don't get afraid because they can't see right down in front of them. That's why you'll see like elephants or horses being depicted by getting frightened of a mouse. It's not the animal itself that scares them, it's the angle they come up underneath the animal that will scare them, or the wind will scare them. But if you see like blinders over their eyes completely, it's a mesh. to keep the flies off and the gnats. And the same, they have them wraps and different things they'll put around their hocks, their ankles, because these are real, and up underneath their bellies. There's fly sprays and horse wipes and different things for different animals. I used to get the certain kind I liked for my horse, and I would wipe it on her, and you go up underneath. Now, are you brave enough to walk up underneath, let's say, a 1,200-pound animal and wipe around its privates so it doesn't get bitten? And in their ears, horses hate when you touch their ears, by the way. So if you don't know what you're doing with a horse, you could really end up hurting yourself, you know. A lot of experts think they're expert too. So, yeah, you live and learn, that's for sure. But anyway, and you can also use petroleum jelly. They'll put, like I used to put a smear of it and coat the inside of my horse's ear and behind it so they wouldn't bite her, and under her neck right here in little places. And it takes a lot to take care of a horse and groom your horse. It's a everyday, all day thing. If you have a horse, it's almost worse than a dog because they're not just content to kind of hang around with you. They want to do more than hang around with you. Number one, they don't want to be penned up. That's the number one thing. But yeah, lots of work. And feeding them, that's really a trip in the winter. Take a trip through the snow to feed a big animal, and the amount that they eat. And they don't just eat it too. Horses will play in their food when it's loose hay. It's not like they're able to go out there and graze, and they'll pick and choose. So you'll see like bale rings and different ways to limit that animal. If I would give my horse a treat, I would give her just a bale to play in and then clean up, use the tractor and clean the whole thing up. Otherwise, you see bale rings and different devices that they'll put hay in to limit the amount. And especially if you give your horses grain too, which can make them too hot, but you got to be careful. And I didn't see any salt blocks around for these one horses that I saw, which was odd. But because they do have to have a lot of salt in their diet, because a lot of the feed they get doesn't have what they need, and they can get faint and actually pass out, get heat stroke like people. So, I mean, just the science behind taking care of one type of animal husbandry is a trick. Like, read about a chicken and what it takes just to have to make a nest or their roost or what dimensions it should be. And I mean, everything. I could go on and on and on for each individual animal that I know about, which is most of them. Of course, I've never raised a kangaroo, but maybe some of my viewers have, you know. So, anyway, so yeah, I think I am against execution, but if they're going to do it, we have a right to see it, not just hear about it. And, you know, there's different parts, and I even heard a constitutional lawyer. Well, it's the language that's used. I'm going to have to hear it again, and next time I do, I'm going to pinpoint the exact language and bring it to the person's attention, how it's being misused in our society. But that's for another video. So I sort of I sort of hate doing that, and I sort of love doing that. I don't like doing it necessarily too well. It depends on the person, you know. If I don't like them, then I really enjoy it, nailing them to the cross. Yeah, I do. That's my mean streak that um I love it. Not because I'm evil, but because without it I would be dead. So, yeah. And when you've always had to take care of yourself, um if you have ever been in your crib and helpless with no help when you needed it, and you have memories of that, because those memories didn't go away, it was a daily thing, so you don't forget it, even if you're little. When you're raised like that, it's a little bit different. So what you see out of me and who you are may be entirely different, and that's not your road to travel. That was mine. So, not that I would do it again, not even close. So, if God said, I need your help here and this and that, I'd be like, look, you started this, you finish it. No, I wouldn't, but it sounded good, eh? No, it's like, okay, then this is how I think we can do it. And he's like, well, and we'll do it like this. And I'm like, but what about that? And he's like, and it's going to be like this. And so don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay, okay, I trust you. You know, trust is a big word. And without, first off, if I don't respect somebody, I'm definitely not going to trust you. Not even close. Respect is a big deal, isn't it? So, we got some rain early this morning. I guess we have more coming in. There is a nice breeze, otherwise, it would be kind of stifling hot. But yeah, got my wall covering that I want that looks like oak, and I'll show you. Doug's going to be doing some of that today. Maybe. He went to get some construction adhesive that we need that's going to save on. He thought he had to beef up a wall that was part of a um, going into the laundry room where we had um, put a different door on there, but it never was really framed in properly, just kind of hung it really quick when the kids were little. And then had to redo the area where my our um, hot water heater is. So that wall right there, he thought he had to beef it up, but when he got through building his cabinet there, it's structurally sound, and he's got, I think it's 3/4 inch plywood on there, beefed up with 2x4s now, and ox board across the top of it that's going to have underlayment on it, and so, and then I have a big cabinet that I want to put there above my dishwasher, so a corner cabinet. So then after that's up, we can see. That won't take much wall covering to finish the whole thing out after that. So little by little, things are getting done, but yeah. What do you think about executions for treasonous? Because when you're treasonous, you have already put the whole country in danger. It's not a question, did you participate in murder or how many? It's that you're involved in that harm on everybody. So it's not even a question. And how do you feel about that? I'd like to see them in orange jumpsuits all chained together on a chain gang, shooed out into the field. I mean, not in the heat of the noonday sun. I'm talking you get your ass up at 4 in the morning You have your breakfast and you get out there and hoe, grow some radishes or something. Do something with your life, you know? I'd like to see that. And then see them harvest it by hand too. Yeah, that would be a sight for my sore eyes. Especially these that say we're coming after your children or our children. Yeah, well, my fist is going to be your fist too. How you like that? Well, maybe you want my brain. I know you don't want my heart. So you can have the rest of it then. The leftovers, the rejects, the part of me that isn't going home to my father. That's the part AI can have to keep the rest of the Nephilim bloodline in line. They'll be able to do whatever they want to each other, and no human will ever suffer again because of it. They'll just be doing it to each other. That's what's just about left on this planet, is the ones walking around in a fog that really have no clue why they're even here. They can say, oh, they're enlightened and they're um, hooking up with their chakras and all the rest of their bullshit, but you know what I'm saying. That their quest and their thirst and their lust for knowledge is vacant, you know, in almost every respect, not just in one area. You think they'd pick one like relationships or behavioral child behavior or um, some kind of sociology, something you think, or mechanics or something you'd think people would just have a inner drive to learn, like that. But you look at them and you talk to them and you try and carry on a conversation, and it's like, hello, hello, hey, you, I just told you something. Did you hear me at all? But they don't, and they just, with that stupid look, people say like fluoridated. No, it's satanic. They're all controlled. They're his, you know. We're at the point where really the Christ's blood, yeah, it's already stood up. And we're not waiting for the great awakening. We're wide awake and we can barely stand this. That's who we are. Because it's a lonely life for all of us that are like that. And yes, we were separated on purpose. This was pre planned, trying to keep the upper hand against the ones that are truly in control. You know, God said, okay, you give it your best try. And when you're done, then the real owners of the world are going to come in and show you how it's done as that example, and then leave you to your own vices, whatever that may be. And that's what's going on here. So I really don't get too upset like that. In general, I don't let a lot of like little things that are going on in the world that people might see as like false flags or whatever. Because we either believe that our souls are going to the Father or they don't. One of the two. Whoever that soul is possessed by, you know. But don't be fooled. This is a spiritual war. This is a physical thing, and it's far more dangerous to the next generations that will still have to be here than they're being led to believe. And things like what was gay pride that has now turned into we're coming for your children. And then other pride parades where they're completely naked on bikes riding around in front of. Are you out of your minds? That's disgusting. Nobody wants to see. I mean, if you're into porn, you want to see other people's naked bodies. But there's absolutely no reason why the whole world should have to suffer for somebody that is um um just a minute, I want to use the exact appropriate word, destitute. They're, oh no, that isn't even the word. They're regressed isn't even the word because they have never changed. They're vacant of all human responsibility. It's just gut wrenching. I don't know about you, but I'm the kind of person, and this has happened. People know this of me. If I'm around so much evil, like the filthy conversations in the world that people have, typically, anywhere you go, I have excused myself and went and thrown everything up in my stomach. That's my evil indicator. I don't do it as much as I used to. I started doing that when I was about 15 years old. That, and that's a real thing. That hurts too, by the way. They say Satan's got your gut. Well, that's when my father is in my temple and can't stand Satan in my gut. That's what's going on there. That's a physical battle on my body. You know, that's a real thing. So if you're feeling a little bit odd or off, or you feel like your energy's being kind of drained, and like, okay, this is what I felt like this morning. For the last few days, I wasn't feeling very well, and I was sad, and y'all knew that. But this morning I felt like, and I woke up and I'm always, when I wake up, I'm usually happy. The last few days I wasn't, but that's really not typical for me at all. So this morning I just felt like horrid, but I had slept really well. Might have been a really good thing. But I woke up so happy. I'm really thankful because it's super out of my nature to be crabby. And so really what it takes for me is absorbing that from other people, and then I get to a point where it's like a CO2 container that you fire a 22 at or something, if you know what I mean, or popping a balloon, same difference. Yeah. I hate my government, I really do, but I've hated them my entire life because for somebody to assume that they can sign a piece of paper on me and sell me around like I'm a piece of meat and pretend like I'm their fucking slave. Yeah, I hate them. Use my social security number, your social security number, in corporations and banks making money off of you and shoving it in their pockets. Yeah, I hate them, and I've hated them since the day I was born, and I'm going to die hating them too. Everybody that's participated in that shit. I have it may not be on fire, full on burning hatred and wrath, but it's the underlying burning desire to see them crumble and fall for the serpents that they are. So, fact. We had military vehicles flying over. We're in a flight path for them, and they were just like dive bombing something last night a couple different times, but they didn't go like that way and then come back. They had ones going that way, and then they went that way again. We'll see. Just we have there's Chinese military airplanes, cargo planes, right across the border in Minnesota on the Canadian side. So I'm sure that's and then I heard tell I don't know where the information came from, that there had been another Chinese balloon spotted in the northern part of the United States, maybe going across Minnesota again. I'm not sure, but so I'm not sure. I didn't hear any more information on that. Just what Doug had heard. So I don't know. Nobody I listened to had mentioned it yet, but I don't know. Excuse me a sec. Oh, so let's see what else is going on. I don't know. There's just I can't get the thoughts of the government even assuming and presuming that they could lead other human beings into this hell that we're experiencing right now. Naked adults out on the streets like there's nothing wrong with it. Then we got preachers like Israel News Live. I wrote on there, tell the truth, just be honest. They're always going back to this part where they'll say, and this is because of the money they can make, by the way, um, by lying to you, that, oh, there's basically, I'm not going to judge you on your sexuality, and Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't about um, the gays. Oh, no, that's only because Sodom is called Sodom because it's the missionary style. That's right. Um, and I said, be honest, just it's not about Sodom and Gomorrah. It's about the parts in the scriptures that say men shouldn't lay with men and the same with women, not laying with the same sex. That's clear, period. you know, End of conversation right there. This doesn't have anything to do with what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah and how the angels disguised themselves. One was men and one was a woman, and the woman disguised herself as a man so she wouldn't be raped. And that's exactly what happened more than once in this world, um, because they're lying to keep making money. And that's doing a disservice to people when you don't tell people the whole scripture and you're going to cherry pick and choose the parts to suit yourself. Go to hell, literally, and take the money you're making with you, because you're doing a disservice to the next generations on this planet. You go fuck yourself. I had somebody write on one of a Facebook post that this world has gotten where their language is just like filthy and whatever. And I said, if you're being unkind to other people, there's no limits on my mouth. And he wrote back that a woman's tongue is as vicious as a serpent. And I wrote back to him, well, and then I said, have a nice day. And he wrote, a woman's tongue is as vicious as a serpent. And he told me to have a nice day too. And I wrote back again, especially if I'm dealing with the wicked. So then he got it exactly, because the way he was presenting, yes, if people are out of sorts and they're just swearing to try and make money or to look cool or whatever, if I'm using foul language, you put me in a foul mood and you're going to hear what you brought out. That's what that is with me, and I'm not going to take any judgment from anybody. You're not the warrior I am, and you're not in the depth of the dark cabal. And if you are and you're pacifying Satan's little playmate there that's fucking with you on a daily basis, how foolish do you feel? I'd confront that just like I do, and that's the only way you're going to win. And it either loves you or it doesn't. It's either going to grow with you or it's going to stagnate in the swampy mire where it belongs. So either pull it up for real or let it squish in the squash of it all. I'm trying to help you not do that, you know, and them. I think about them all the time. I pray. But they're not listening to my guidance. So how are you going to have them listen to yours if what you've always done didn't work? Maybe you need to take a little bit of a new approach with that. Use your imagination like I did. It works, I'm telling you. The Spirit of God's out there with preloaded ammo right now. Keeping that inside yourself isn't going to help you or them. It's a true thing. I don't care if it's your mother or your wife, or if you have a vicious woman and they are controlled by the satanic force on a harder level than a lot of men. Men are kind of, no offense, and don't take offense to this, but you're kind of up on that wavelength anyway, if you get my gist. That's not an insult either by any extreme. But you're there with it. But they use their femininity to murder. And if you look at it like it actually is what it is, it's called coddled. You can't wrap these things up like a taco and not eat it. You know? If they present themselves as a taco, then you present yourself like you're hungry, right? Ooh, tacos sound good now, dang it. I had a super good supper last night. I never been one that really likes papayas much, but I only had these little ones. Last night, yesterday, Doug brought home these giant papayas. And so I peeled it, got the seeds out, and I made like a bed of lettuce and put some next to that with some cottage cheese, a little bit of dressing. Oh, it was so wonderful. So I had a few sunflower seeds before that, ranch flavored, and then my papaya salad. Oh, yum to die for. I'd rather die for a freaking papaya than I would some woman pretending to be female, if that makes sense. Get more out of the papaya for sure. But yeah, usually they have kind of like, well, they have a lot of like antimicrobial, antibacterial, different antiseptic properties, like in the seeds and different things you can use papayas for. And but they always kind of, especially, I mean, you got to be careful with the skins, but they have kind of an astringent flavor, like an artichoke, which I like artichoke hearts. And there was this one recipe I made one time with artichokes. It was baked artichokes with a tomato sauce, and I can't remember the cheese I used. I can't remember if there was some garlic in there or what it was, but it was like a pull apart choke hot dish that looked almost like a artichoke lasagna, I think is what it was. But that was pretty good. It wasn't too bad. But you do have to prepare things right, is what it is. And if you don't know a lot about it, and I just found out I do like papayas. Oh, that was really good. So I'm spitting on myself. Yeah, good papayas. So, I wonder why they named it papayas and not mamayas. Must be a reason from the language where they originate from. Not sure. Oh, what I was hoping this morning is that Florida would have an overabundance of their giant avocados and start shipping them up by where I live. We get the little Haas ones from Mexico, but the big ones from Florida. Oh, my ex-brother-in-law, deceased now, brought me like 3, 4 of them. And he ate one because he couldn't help himself. So he's a house guest of mine. So he brings me these avocados, and it's just incredible. Yum, yum. That's probably, I think if I could only eat one food, I might have to just pick an avocado. I love them. A little bit of salt on an avocado, and I'm in heaven. Pretty close. Different color, but same fruit. So I have memories that I can't prove, you know. Conversations and plans in school, and even the foreseeance of YouTube, and Christ actually working on YouTube productions ahead of time because time is linear and I can't prove a damn thing I'm talking about, and I sound totally whacked. Yes, I know, right? But I said it. There's another one of them things. If you'd like to hear some more about my experiences before I came here, wasn't always glorious. And yes, there was a war in heaven, and it looks much like what we're going through right now. It's a recreation of it, as a matter of fact. Right down to the robotics and the transhumanism, the transgenders, the whole smear. Everything and everybody. We're all here. What is that? Cheer, cheer, the gang's all here. I don't know. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Some song stuck in my head. Popped in there. Or hail, hail, the gang's all here. Something. An old, probably 40s tune. Maybe before. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I'll have another cigarette with you and then cut off. I'm sure I'll think of something else that's on my mind. I don't have many moments of my life that I'm not thinking. I don't know how people do that, you know. That's got to be a hard thing to deal with. I was pretty proud. My oldest granddaughter made a patchwork quilt for her dog. Her dog's name is Chaos. Actually, my granddaughter should have been named Chaos. No, they called me Trouble, and she's much like me. Yeah, she is. But I was really proud. She can bake and sew, and she's a lot smarter than people think she is. So she's going to go far with all that. But yeah, I was proud. What a pretty, pretty quilt she made for her dog. And she's an artist. And a sculptor. She'd love my property. I have clay where we could sieve it through a screen and bake greenware, pottery, sculpting. Yeah, if she wanted to. I had made my stepdaughter a little tiny, her dog was named Reefer. I called her Woofy for the sake of the kids and everybody else. Um, but she was a black lab Springer mix, so she looked like she had long curly black hair. Real pretty dog. Um, with some white in the front. And I had made Chrissy a little reefer, painted it black, gold eyes, red tongue sticking out, laughing like she usually was. And I got the curls in her hair in the clay just perfect before I fired it, and then I painted it and glossed it for her because her dad had made her a shadow box out of wood for her knickknacks. And so I made her a little woofy to go on her shadow box for her. So, yeah, I love to sculpt too, but and draw. I haven't drawn for a long time, but I used to always draw this guy that looks so much like Doug my whole life with the cap, cigarette in his mouth sometimes, and I draw cars, and the car we both like is like the car I drew when I was a little kid all the time. It's just really weird. The coincidences that people have in their lives that really aren't coincidence at all. It's like the music that God helped people conduct in my lifetime and the music videos that would reflect what I was going through in my life. It's amazing the connection that he has for people in this world, and some people don't recognize it. They like the connection of things that God is so orchestrated in our lives. It's beautiful. I mean, everything like that. It's hard to explain because you can't really prove it, but you know you're going through it. And it's like deja vu. And how could your brain even know these things? But there it is. It's wild, you know? And people think they're smart. That's what gets me. Like God didn't make computers in the mind of man. Man thought that up. Yes, sure you did. I'm sure you thought up woman too. And you know them so well. because of all the great examples of them out on this planet that people have been able to see. Ugh, wow. Let's reach into their brains and really see, shall we? I'm game if you are. Dear, oh dear. My eye is twitching. Hold still. Now you know how my eyes got like that. No. And my nose. No. I'm really serious. You need to, I mean, with all the love in your heart, you better start clamping down on these stupid bitches because they're leading children the wrong way. And you need to take charge of this shit right now for other people. This has nothing to do with me or you or anybody else aside from the up and coming generations that need to be protected from stupid and stop coddling stupid. Just stop it. I'm not saying stupid women can't do good on this planet. Of course they can. But how real is it if they're actually murdering somebody, you included, within their wicked plans? No amount of good matters. It doesn't matter. It's all fucking aced out from the beginning until you step up and get a handle on that shit within them. Because I see it and I sense it. You don't have to tell me. All I'd have to do is take one glance. You know that's true now. Come on. And that's why them type of women hate me, hate me, hate me. Oh, better believe they do. But you know what? I'd be the most honest friend they ever had and the most loyal one. So, being that they wouldn't want to be my friend, what does that tell you? Should speak volumes. I can't make them love me, and you're certainly not going to make me love them. And I'm talking to a part of myself out there. These are the women that represent womanhood out on this planet right now, the people that other people are looking up to. Pull their disguises off and expose the trash. It's time to take the trash out and clean your dirty women up. Like I said, I don't care if it's your mother. I don't care who it is. You tell them like it is. Don't sugarcoat this shit. It's time for them to be awakened. It's time. I'm not putting you down. Not in the least. That is never my intent with anybody. Well, nah, I take that back. Nah, I take it back. I might. I might. If somebody deserves it, like I'm ragging on a couple women that I'm thinking of in particular. Yeah, they deserve it, and I'm not going to be quiet until I see something tangible and real that has taken the bounce out of their step. That satanic fucking bounce. You know? I'll show them some bounce. I'm serious. Like a taekwondo bounce. Yeah. And that's just what they really need, too. They need to act stupid in front of a woman like me and see how that goes. They're only sassy for about a minute, if even. After that, for some reason, I have this way of taming the most wild beasts. I wonder why that is. What is it in me that will do that in front of a person? Can you think of any reason? I can think of a few. That's how you need to be. Show no mercy. This isn't the time for mercy. This is the time for, we're in a battle here, people. You know? And for the points that you've done that are wonderful and spectacular, thank you. And I appreciate that with all my heart. I really do. And people that have taken time to talk to me when other people really could care less what I'm saying or thinking. Well, that could be because I'm God's oldest daughter in my soul. And I still appreciate the time you take. I don't take that lightly or think that it's no big deal because life is hard out there. And so the time that you would take, hopefully too though, it is a comfort knowing that I listen to you as well and I take heed in everything you say and I value your thoughts. So, and I respect you. So, well, I'm going to let you go and I do appreciate you joining me. Once again, happy birthday, Robin's Hood. If you haven't checked out Robin's channel, he's showing some similarities of what he's been going through in life. And it's almost, and he took a tour through the art museum with his wife in Philadelphia on her birthday. And the similarities and things is kind of weird. And even the wall covering I got is like some of the wall coverings they have in the art museum, and that there's some similarities in my life in that, all that. Yeah, life's a weird thing. So yeah, so if you haven't checked out his work, and he's very personable, very likable, and entertaining, and really maturing into a wonderful human being, and I have some incredible friends. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here again. Always. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a nice day. Good night or day, wherever you're at.